And we are now getting a closer look at who exactly will make up this year's electorate and how independent voters could prove to be the deciding factor come Election Day. According to the latest AP-GFK poll, 31% of voters consider themselves to be Democrats. 21% say they identify as Republicans, while 22% say they're independents. 17% say they don't identify either of these parties. So what impact will all of this have come Election Day? Here now, Jonathan Collegio, Director of Communications for American Crossroads and former press secretary for the National Republican Congressional Committee, and Christy Setzer, she's the president of New Heights Communications and former spokesperson for former Vermont Governor Howard Dean. Good to see both of you.
Good to see you too.
All righty, 1/3 is a sizable slice of the political pie, and there are no guarantees this time that the independents will flock to the president. So, Jonathan, what platform should Governor Romney push to win them over?
Well, what we're seeing in our research is that folks are really hungry to see new information about Mitt Romney. I mean, on the presidential side, folks have seen literally $200 million of negative ads. But a lot of the ads that they're seeing aren't even relevant to his policy or his record as governor. They've been about Bain Capital, which nobody cares about, his tax returns, which don't really seem relevant, you know, whether or not he's responsible for the death of a woman, which people don't even believe. So people are very hungry for new, fresh information about Mitt Romney. They want to see what he can present to the country. And for the first time this next week, he's going to be able to present himself and his policies unfiltered to the American people, and I think that they're going to like what they see.
Okay, we'll be watching, of course. Let me take a look at this other poll here. Washington Post Kaiser Family Foundation poll looking at independents' view of political parties. You got 58% of the Democrats and 60% of the Republicans saying they're going in the wrong direction. So, Christy, getting back to you, President Obama won independents by 8 percentage points in 2008. But based on these poll numbers, independents seem to be just as discouraged by the Dems as they are Republicans. And although half of this current group of NDs have already made up their minds, what will it take for the president to win over the undecideds? Or, Christy, do the both candidates just play it to their base?
I think they do just play to their base. Look, the important thing to remember here is that there were very few voters who are actual independents or undecideds. Most people who themselves independents actually vote pretty reliably as Democrats or Republicans, and the people who are still undecided at this point, we're coming on near Labor Day before the election, probably are also pretty low information voters who haven't been tuning in up to this point. So for those, say, 5 or 6% of the population who are truly undecided, I absolutely agree with Jonathan. This is a very big week that's coming up for Mitt Romney. The problem is that all the conversation up to this point, just as they're tuning in, is all about abortion and whether there should be an exception for rape. It's all about turning Medicare into a voucher system. And then, just yesterday, Mitt Romney made a birther joke about the president, which
Christy,
doesn't play very well.
We know that, and quite frankly, people are they're tired of hearing all that negative campaigning. But let's take a closer look at this group up for grabs. And Jonathan, I'm going to go with you. According to the AP, there are often more women, men, a little bit younger than those who've made up their minds. They have less education and income, and they're far less partisan because, again, people are just kind of sick of all of that, the bickering. So, Jonathan, again, given that breakdown, though, what are Governor Romney's chances? Because Christy did raise some important points, though.
No, those are very, very good points. Here's the thing. By and large, we research all these people at American Crossroads. We're looking at independent voters because those are the people that Mitt Romney has to win over. And what we see, even in that right track, wrong track, we see 2-to-1. People think that the country is on the wrong track. People are ready to give Barack Obama the pink slip. What they're not ready for is they haven't seen Mitt Romney's plan. They want to make sure that the guy who's waiting in the wings has a good plan that can turn the economy around. And if he can make that case this next week, I think you're going to see a huge bump in the polls in favor of Romney and Ryan.
Well, Jonathan, you say that people are ready to give the president the pink slip, but Christy, President Obama is the more trusted candidate among this group. So can his campaign managers just assume that this group, that they're engaged, they're not sick of the same old rhetoric, and go to the polls come November 6th?
No, they can't take that vote for granted at all. I absolutely agree with Jonathan that there is a swath of voters out there who do have doubts about the president, who have doubts, let's say, about the economy, but are absolutely not ready at this point to hire Mitt Romney as the person that they would like to replace him. And that's for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that we haven't heard too much about Mitt Romney's policy positions, and some that we've heard a lot about, including his time at Bain Capital and what he's going to do for the wealthiest in this country, are not policy positions that gel well with a lot of Americans.
And Jonathan, picking up on what Christy's talking about, and you said earlier that we're going to hear more about the governor from the governor's mouth this week. How much of that do you think is going to be scripted? Because, of course, you have some of the Republicans saying that they really need to get a more personal side of the governor.
Well, yeah, there was an AP story yesterday saying that there is a plan to present Mitt Romney, the man, to the American people. And I think that that's important because what people know about Mitt Romney has been shaped by all this $200 million assault of negative ads about all these things that people don't care about. He needs to sell himself, his plan, his family, his vision for the country. And this is going to be the first real opportunity that he's going to have to do that. He hasn't been able to have this unfiltered conversation with the American people. And that's what he's going to have on Thursday night. And I'm looking forward to it, and I think a lot of other people are.
I should hope so, and we'll have it right here for you in the Fox News Channel. Jonathan Collegio, Christy Setzer, thank you very much for your words this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Ethel, you giving kids allowance?